Yeah, that'd be great.
And you're fine with that?
I'm fine.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm calling the meeting to order at 4:34 on July 17th. We have a quorum present. The meeting's been duly called. Notice of the meeting has been posted for the time and in the manner required by law. We have only consent items today because we have a requirement from TEA on waivers. One of them's a waiver and the other one are school calendars. So the school calendars you have on here, these are the ones the school districts, because we sync up with the school districts typically, these are the ones the school districts posted pre-COVID. So school districts are changing their calendars. We don't know if they all will, but we would expect most will. So we're getting approval from the board as a consent item for the 2021 school calendars as they would have looked a couple of months ago. We're also asking in the resolution for you to approve administration making changes to the calendars to sync up with school districts as appropriate based on related to COVID. The second item is the reason we're having the meeting right now with such short notice is 30 days before the start of the school year. We have two virtual schools. One of them was the original virtual that fell under the appropriate pre-moratorium. So there's a moratorium on virtual schools. We were approved before that, the Texas TCPA. The TA let us split the two to where we have the TCPA virtual and the Premier virtual. But the Premier virtual, they're requiring us to get a waiver. We didn't think they were going to require the waiver again, but we just learned on Monday our waiver was expiring and we had to get the waiver approved 30 days. We had to submit it 30 days prior to school because they have 30 days to approve it. So it's a bureaucratic thing. At least they told us about it. And that's why we're having to do it at 4:30 on Friday. So that's the second item, is you approving us continuing our virtual under the Premier Charter and submitting this waiver to TEA to be able to receive funding. If you did not approve this, we could offer 3 courses and get half funding, but we could not offer 5 or more and get full funding. So that's what this second item is. So we're asking for approval of these 2 items under TA governance consent items.
Okay, does anybody have any questions? I don't.
And I was seeing nodded heads from Joe and
No questions.
No questions.
Okay, cool beans. All right, so I'll make a motion to approve consent items 1 and 2, and approving the school calendar, as well as approving the submission of the waiver to TEC 30A 153 regarding funding. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you. Anybody object? Okay, the consent items 1 and 2 passed unanimously.
all right, that's it. Unless you have any questions or want to talk about anything else, I can give you an update on what's going on with things as they change daily, or we're going to start sending you written notes again like we were doing in the spring because so many things are coming out.
Yeah, well, I just have a question about what we submitted as a result of our last board meeting, organizational. I believe we're past the 30 days. Have we?
We're right around that time. Chris, do you want to give them an update on the question or the comment from the lawyer and then are continuing the dialogue?
Right. So the legal counsel for TEA, one of the attorneys, ended up doing the review. She felt there's some ambiguity in the request. As a result of that perceived ambiguity, they denied our request to approve those CMO agreements. So what we ended up doing is simply providing additional clarification to them, We resubmitted it to them for considerations, asked them to reconsider their disapproval of our request, and now they're reviewing that. There's more individuals involved so that there's a bigger picture. We try to lay it out a little bit more succinctly so there's less opportunity for any ambiguity. Of course, we didn't feel like there's ambiguity to begin with, but we did resubmit it in a different form to hopefully answer any questions they might have.
So what was what was the theme of their ambiguity? Was it that they felt like there was, information that was missing as to the purpose, or I mean, what was it that they found ambiguous?
What they found to be ambiguous was it's a good question. It's a very good question.
That's what Joe Hopper and Kevin O'Hanlon said. Right?
Yeah, that's one of our issues is that we weren't quite able to identify the ambiguity. So what we did was this. The board was reinstating and amending a previous agreement, and that caused some confusion. And so what we did was we took the agreement that the TEA had approved in 2014, and we put it into a separate document for them as approved by the TEA. Then I did a red line version with the 3 changes that this board had approved us making to that approved agreement. So they have a clean copy now. They have a separate red line copy that has the 3 revisions that this board has approved, 1 revision in 2015 and 2 revisions most recently. And then I provided them with all of the documentation that showed, here's what we originally submitted to the TEA and the board resolution associated with it. Here is the TEA's thorough review asking for the revisions. Here are the revisions that we made to comply. Then here are the board resolutions that approved amendment number 1, amendments 2 and 3. So they have all that to show that what we presented to them actually has been approved by the board. It was the email that I sent, hopefully laid it out, like I said, succinctly, addressing the perceived shortcomings of the first submission. And hopefully we won't have any questions regarding ambiguity. Now, what it really means practically is this. It means that since they gave us an official decision as far as denial, that the clock, they could come back and say, no, the clock has restarted. From the time that you resubmitted, the 30 days now begins from that point, which is probably what they'll end up doing. The other thing that they may do, depending on how interested they are in reviewing this contract, they may want to go beyond reviewing the simple 3 amendments that we submitted, and they might want to look at the whole thing from scratch again. So keep in mind, we had an agreement that the TEA approved in 2014, and we were only really saying, listen, you already approved this. Here are the 3 very discrete amendments that we are requesting be made to this previously approved agreement. So really to streamline the process, we're pointing your attention to those 3 things and those 3 things alone. They may wish to exercise their discretion to go beyond those 3 discrete amendments and wish to review the entire agreement again. We don't know.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think we're too concerned if they want to extend or start the clock over with that, as long as there's no more ambiguity in the what's going on.
Right.
Okay. When do you think you'll hear back from them?
Close to the 30 days. Right now, they don't seem to be in a rush given the other things that are going on at the TEA. What I will end up doing is every Monday and Friday, I'll send a follow-up email, say, just following up, what's the status? Do you have any questions for me? Anything that you see that's a shortcoming, offer that assistance and try to continue the dialogue, make myself available.
All right.
Thanks for asking.
Yeah, you're welcome.
We will need to have a board meeting in August on the 2nd Friday, which is August the 14th. Or sometime, if that date doesn't work, sometime in August, the first part.
I think it's going to work for me. I believe, the question I had is when we're going to be taking Sophia back to Belmont University, and it looks like we're going to be leaving the next day on the 15th. So, I think it works for me. I don't know about the rest of the board, but it works for me.
Yeah, works for me.
All right, any other questions? We'll give you a lot of information on the 14th.
All right,
Sounds
great.
good. You all have a good weekend.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Talk to you
You
later.
too. Bye, guys.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.